everyone, I am Shinar Ahmedjanova and I am going to talk about databases. Lecture topic: Database Systems, Fundamentals of Database Systems, Data Models, the Basics of SQL. After the end of this lecture, you will be able to know what is a database and database management system, what data models are there, what basic concepts of relational databases, what main SQL instructions are there to define, manipulate, and control data. You must learn database technology because databases are everywhere. There are many tools and services that connect to databases we use every day. For example, in all cases when you do any banking transactions, any travel reservations, or check train or airline schedules, you retrieve data from database. You use university database when you see your grades or registered courses. As well, you can use databases in telecommunication, manufacturing, human resources, healthcare, and other systems. The appearance of the database in 1962 was the most important achievement in the field of software. Databases is the main part of the information system, and this fundamentally changed the nature of the work of many organizations. It is impossible to provide the work of most financial, industrial, commercial, and other organizations without database. Before we learn about database, let's understand what is data. In simple words, data can be facts related to any object in consideration. For example, student's name, surname, date of birthday, faculty, group are some data of any students. Or vehicle model, year of its manufacture, color, engine capacity, cost are data of any car. For computer technologies, data is information in discrete fixed form, convenient for storage, processing on a computer, and for transmission over communication channels. Text, image, video, audio can all be considered as data. Now, what is a database? We already know what data is, but data could be random. But database is a collection of data organized in a special way. It makes data management easy. So, database is an organized collection of interrelated data generally stored and accessed electronically from a computer system. To create, use, and store databases is used special software called DBMS. A database management system, DBMS, is a software package designed to store and manage databases. For instance, MySQL, Microsoft Access, Oracle, PostgreSQL, DBase, FoxPro, IBM DB2, Microsoft SQL Server, etc. A properly designed database has the following properties. First of all, integrity, which refers to integrity rules and restrictions. In particular, the restrictions are related to database normalization. Second one, database restorability after failure of the system or separate types of system damage. Next one, database safety, which assumes data protection from intentional and unintentional access, modification or damage, and fraud. Next property is efficiency, that assumes minimum time of response to the user's request and minimum needs for memory. A database system consists of data, software, hardware, users. There are several types of users. First, end users. They use the database system to achieve some goal. Next one, application developers. They write software to allow end users to interface with the database system. Next one, database administrator or DBA. designs and manages the database system. And finally, database system programmer writes the database software. Database architecture. The architecture of commercial DBMS are available today is mostly based on the ANSYS Spark database architecture. ANSYS Spark three-tier architecture has main three levels. First of all, external level, at which users or separate user groups have their own view on a created database. Next one, internal level, at which DBMS and an operating system perceive data. And next one, conceptual level of data presentation, which is intended for the display of external level onto internal level, as well as for the support of the necessary independence from each other. Three-level architecture provides data independence of database. Database is defined as property of DBMS that helps us to change the database schema at one level of a database system without requiring to change the schema at the next higher level. Data independence helps us to keep data separated from all programs that might use of it. That means applications insulated from how data is structured and stored. Logical data independence makes sure protection from changes in logical structure of data. Physical data independence provides protection from changes in physical structure of data. Data model. The logical structure of data stored in the database is called the data model. In other words, data models define how data is connected to each other and how they are processed and stored inside the system. Hierarchical model. This database model organizes data in a tree-like structure with a single root to which all the other data is linked. In this model, a child node will only have a single parent node. This model efficiently describes many real-world relationships like index of a book, recipes, etc. In hierarchical model, data is organized into tree-like structure with one-to-many relationship between two different types of data. For example, one department can have many courses, many professors, and of course many students. Next model, network model. This is an extension of the hierarchical model. In this model, data is organized more like a graph and are allowed to have more than one parent node. This database model was used to map many-to-many data relationships. This model was the most widely used database model before relational model was introduced. Next, relational model. Today, relational model of data is the most widely used data model that was suggested in 1970 by American mathematician Edgar Codd. There are some advantages allowed to stay popular data model till now. Relational DBMS is very simple model. There is used familiar table structure. That model has a good theoretical foundation from mathematics. It is set theory. There are industrial strength implementations, for example, Oracle, Sybase, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL Server, DB2, etc. And finally, there is large user community. Main concept of RDBMS relation, basically a table with rows and columns. A relation schema describes the columns or attributes of a relation. Tables represent entities and named in the singular such as vehicle, order, grade, etc. Relational databases should keep some rules from relational algebra. First, each attribute has a unique name within an entity. All entries in the column are example of it. Each row is unique. Ordering of rows and columns is unimportant, and each position is limited to a single entry. The main tools to ensure integrity of databases are keys. There are primary key and foreign key. There may also be alternate and secondary keys within a table. Let's have a look at database that created with Microsoft Access. This database consists of 3 tables, interrelated tables: student, faculty, and employee. Table student stores information about students like ID student, first name, last name, birth date, faculty, and address. Faculty table stores information about faculty of university like faculty name and dean. And employee table combine fields like employee ID, first name, last name, birth date, address, phone, experience of employees of university. These tables of database are interrelated. Let's consider 2 tables, faculty and student. These tables related by their keys. For example, faculty table and student table related by a primary key of faculty table called ID faculty, and foreign key of table student called faculty. SQL is a language to operate databases. It includes database creation, deletion, fetching rows, modifying rows, etc. SQL is an ANSI, American National Standards Institute, standard language, but there are many different versions of the SQL language. SQL is structured query language, which is a computer language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data stored in a relational database. SQL is the standard language for relational database system. All the relational database management systems like MySQL, Microsoft Access, Oracle, Sybase, Informix, Postgres, and SQL Server use SQL as their standard database language. Also, they are using different dialects such as TSQL of Microsoft SQL Server, or PLSQL of Oracle, and JetSQL of Microsoft Access. SQL is widely popular because it offers the following advantages. First of all, allows users to access data in relational database management systems and to describe the data. Next, allows users to define the data in a database and manipulate that data. Allow users to create and drop database and tables, and create views, stored procedure functions in a database, and allows users to set permissions on table, procedures, and views. The standard SQL commands to interact with relational databases are create, select, insert, update, delete, and drop. These commands can be classified into the following groups based on their nature. First group is DDL, that means Data Definition Language. Commands of this group are used to create and change the structure of database objects, for example, to create and delete tables. These instructions are create, alter, and drop. Next group of commands is DML, Data Manipulation Language. Commands of this group are used to manipulate the information that is stored in database objects. These instructions are insert, enter, update, delete, and select. Next group is DCL, It stands for Data Control Language. These corresponding commands are designed to control access to information stored in database. These instructions are grant and revoke.